Let me first, you know, this thing about, this is what the president was talking about, that I want to increase taxes so that I can, work on to reduce the fiscal deficit. But in reality, you are seeing now that 2023-24 year is not even ended. And the time they actually spend most is the last quarter, April, May, June. So you can bet that that figure of 5.6 now that the PS talked about will probably be above 6, would be in the region of 6.5 probably by the time the year is concluded and we have the figures, a few months from now. But clearly what I want to, there's a point that I think I just wanted to emphasize before I come to those territories. Yes. You see, when you talk about this country, and we keep comparing this country to America and to what some MP has said, that we're the least taxed country, because look at Norway, look at Germany, look at South Africa. When you look at it, this is a country where 1/3 of our GDP is coming from the informal sector. In fact, it's estimated. It's not even, you can't calculate. And that same 1/3 of the economy is the one that creates up to 80% of the employment. This is the employment that you expect the government wants to collect taxes on. You can't then compare us with America, for example, those countries. America's informal sector is only 3%. I mean, this is, so when you keep talking of you want to raise tax to this percentage of GDP because other countries in OECD and America are doing it, for heaven's sake, those countries are completely different in every dynamic that you want to look. You cannot compare. You are comparing eggs with apples completely. I mean, it's misplaced. So I think it's important that the government really looks beyond these skyscrapers in Nairobi. They should go to Kiambu and beyond and just see that we're in third world country, where one half of the country is still living below the poverty line, where we have the highest unemployment rate in Eastern Central Africa. So I mean, it's misplaced completely the way we keep looking at other, to try and please the audience in most Western countries. But on the austerity, I think this is very elusive. I'm sure if you have worked with government for years, every government that has come to power from Kibaki to Uhuru has always said that we are going to introduce austerity. We'll cut down on tea and flowers and newspapers and travel and all those things, but nothing is happening.
To be cleared by the head of public service before we make any trouble.
It's not happening.
That is all though, but what impact?
It's not. The government lives large. You can just see from the vehicles Kenyan government. I once went to Sudan. CS, a minister, is driving a Toyota Corolla. I mean, you've seen in some of these countries. And in our country, forget about a minister. If you are like our friend running a state corporation, you can't be driving even on anything less than a V8. So we live large.
Actually, and here is one driving on 1.8cc vehicle, so it's not.
Well, that's personal, I'm sure.
no. Office car. But,
Billow Kerrow.
Another perspective, I think, is the issue of governance. Let me tell you, all these things about lack of austerity and all the things we are discussing is really about governance. It's about leadership. And that is our biggest challenge in this country and in many of our developing countries, including South Africa and all this. And it is this poor governance that underpins the wastage, the inefficiencies, the corruption, and all those things that you see. For example, this government is less than 2 years old, and today the headline in one of the papers is "Tales of Broken Hearts as Kenya Kwanza's hyped projects stall." They're listing dozens of projects that the president launched just the last 2 years. All of them have stalled. I mean, and then you're telling us, please collect more taxes. I collect money, you start at 25 billion in coins or Udam, something, you launch it and with fanfare, that's the end of it. I mean, it's listed there. So unless we deal with the issue of governance, really, which also underpins how we spend our money, which is the main concern for many Kenyans, rationalization of public, service, the expenditure control, I think the frugality in which how we spend our resources. This is why if you go to Ethiopia, I'm telling you, the value for money, the value for the shilling in that country will surprise you. They have a very small budget because of the low tax collection, which is 7% of their GDP, but The money that you allocated, you must spend it in a way that is completely, it's not the way we are doing it. Here you do a road today, 5 billion. After 1 year, it's washed out. And we have to do again the same road. And you don't understand what's going on. Somebody has approved it, somebody has okayed it. We see it everywhere we live, everywhere we drive. Roads don't last a year or 2 years. So we're just repeating. So it's governance is another matter. That if I was the president of this country, which I hope someday, right here, and his friend will
no, let him finish. You know, maybe he's pointing at Iraqi.
Yeah, Iraqi. His friends will one day decide that they are tired of it.
I hope as a running mate. Are you pointing to me as a running mate?
Yes. So if I were really, I would focus on the issue of governance. And I will not need to tax Kenyans. I'm telling you. Kenyans are paying more taxes. We collect more revenue. I have to repeat this every time in every show than all these African countries combined up to now. And yet we are saying we are not collecting enough taxes. And I think this is very unfortunate. We are really collecting taxes. The issue is not about taxes. The issue is how we spend it. Let us focus on other aspects of the economy. We have parliament. When we and him were in parliament just a few years ago, the budget of parliament was less than 20 billion. Now it's going to 60 something billion. So look at it everywhere. It's crazy. We have devolved this country's functions significantly to the counties. Counties get less than 10% of the total budget, 300 something billion out of the almost 4 trillion. But what do? We still have money allocated to the ministries the same way as if there was no devolution. And so, I mean, really, if I was the president, I would focus internally on these things. And I don't need to tax people, because we're discouraging investors, we're discouraging businesses.
Even if